What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Joel Friday TV. I am Joel Friday. Welcome to the show. A few announcements before we get started. Hit that like button, smack it. Lay the smack down on like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we get the subscribers up. And a message out. Do it now. Help your brother out. As you guys know, we are live Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Punchy.tv. And at any point during the show, you can call in. 888-775-3773, 888-775-3773, and we can get into whatever you're thinking. Whatever you want to get into, we can get into it. If for whatever reason you can't call in, but you still have a question or comment, or you just want to support the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV. You can buy me a donut. Send me your questions and comments there, or go directly to the YouTube live chat, hit the super chat button. Send them there as well, and I'll read them live on air. You know what I'm saying? What's today? Y'all know what today is. Thursday. What's Thursday? Character Breakdown Thursday. Come on, we breaking down that character. Oh, my voice cracked. Don't worry about that. We breaking down that character. I have some stuff I want to show you guys, but as you guys know, first we're gonna get into a little bit of news, just briefly, just to warm it up, just to keep it, light before we get into these deeper, heavier subjects. We start off with a little bit of news. First things first, how y'all? How's it going? Shout out to chats across the platforms. Appreciate you guys showing love in the chats as well. Shout out to the chat, Snake Pit, the Lion's Den, Facebook crew, Punchy.tv crew. Appreciate all you guys. Amazing stuff. So, Donald Trump issued, I don't know if you guys heard about this. If you're familiar, I'm sure most of you guys are familiar, but those who aren't, Donald Trump issued a warning to Hamas leaders saying, ideally, and I'm going to get to exactly what he said in a second, that y'all better release them hostages or else. He warned the Hamas leaders, he warned them. The terrorist groups, he said, listen, y'all better release them hostages or else. Don't play with me. I ain't playing. I am not playing. Trump with the Truth Social, it has some words for Hamas right here. We're going to get to this. He says, Shalom, Hamas. It means hello and goodbye. You can choose. Ooh. Release all of the hostages now, not later, and immediately return all the dead bodies of the people you murdered. Or it is over in caps for you. Only sick and twisted people keep bodies, and you are sick and twisted. I am sending Israel everything it needs to finish the job. Not a single Hamas member will be safe if you don't do as I say. I have just met with your former hostages whose lives you have destroyed. This is your last warning. For the leaders, now is the time to leave Gaza while you still have a chance. Also to the people of Gaza, a beautiful future awaits, but not if you hold hostages. If you do, you are dead. Make a smart decision. Release those hostages now, or there will be hell to pay later. Sincerely, Donald Trump, the President of the United States. Hold up. This man ain't playing with y'all. He ain't playing. He letting you guys know, listen, we the U.S., I'm Trump. So I don't know if you guys heard about that, but that's what's going on right now. Obviously, you guys know that there's a war going over there in Hamas and Israel, all that stuff. Israel just recently did a strike against Hamas. They ain't playing either. Israel is obviously backed by the U.S., allies with the U.S. So we'll see what happens, but just a little news. And I bring that to your attention just because it makes sense with the topic today of true authority, what true authority looks like. What authority looks like. And I just thought that was interesting. And I noticed that when certain things, there's two ways to go about life as like men, right? One way is the life of authority, and one way is no authority, right? Pretty simple. And I just want to show you the difference of the two, and we'll kind of break it down from there. But what I liked about that True Social post is I'm not for the wars and stuff like that. You know, I'm not with all that stuff. I'd rather see us at peace, come to an agreement, everybody happy. That's just more my vibe. But Trump got to do what he got to do. So I'm trusting him to get the job done. But what I like is that he's grounded in the truth and at least what he believes to be true, right? We can make mistakes. Human beings make mistakes. But he's grounded in what he believes to be true, and he stands on it. He be standing on that business. And because of that is why he's respected by many. And there's no doubt in his stance. And I love that. And you got to respect that because that's authority. And I want to give you guys another example of authority here, right? Just something simple. You guys seen it before. This is not new, but I want to replay this clip, okay, of the president dealing with a governor, okay? And the way he went about this was so interesting to me, right? So interesting to me and so like clear on how to deal with somebody. This is from X, a rapid response 47 on X. Trump puts the governor of Maine in her place after receiving backtalk. Here we go.
The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
She said, damn right I am.
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
Well, we are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. Ooh. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
Listen. I like this clip so much because it shows a lot. Like, it shows a lot. He didn't have to say much but the truth. Like, he didn't have to say much but the truth. He didn't really even have to flex his authority here as the president. All he did, look, he didn't raise his voice. He didn't yell at the governor of Maine. But she came crazy from the jump. She came at him crazy. She said, damn right I'm here. Right? And he's like, oh, okay, well, bet. Right? He was calm, cool, collected, but you could still see that his authority was being flexed. Right? He's like, well, you better do it. You better do your part, or guess what? Your funds are getting cut. I have the power to do so. I will cut your funds. He didn't need to yell for what? Why? Right? He put her in her place with just that simple thing. Just because authority is not yelling. Authority is not anger, right? Authority is not intimidation, right? You either have it or you don't. And part of the reason why Trump has it is, for one, God has given it to him, right? Authority is given to people, right? But for two, he stands on what he believes to be true. He's grounded in what he believes to be true, and he stands tall on it, and he doesn't doubt, right? He doesn't cower down. And him being in entertainment for so many years, he's just grown stronger and stronger and more bold and bold and bold and more confident in staying that way. So he's not moved by these little arguments, right? These little back talk or this little criticism or this little, you know what I mean? Because he's been there, done that, right? And he takes these hard approaches, and that's why I love him. That's why America loves him. But perfect example of authority there. Non-yelling, non-really combative, but also he threw a little shot in there too, like good luck trying to become a governor again. You know what I mean? Like, shout out. But I want to tell you, I want to show you the difference. I want to show you guys the difference. All right? And then I'll get to you guys' calls and super chats. I want to show you guys the difference of what the opposite of authority looks like. I want to do a little breakdown here, okay? This clip here, you guys probably have seen it before as well, but we're going to get to it. Give me a second. This clip here is a stepfather, okay? A stepfather speaking to his stepson and family, or stepfamily. I don't know what you would call the whole family, stepfamily, whatever. But this is from, let me make sure I tell you guys the right link. This is from Instagram, okay? Stepfather goes off on stepson in a heated bout in front of the family. Here we go.
It's okay, you can record me all you want. He's a little scumbag.
Okay.
Just like you.
Okay.
I don't care. You can tell your father's gonna go to jail too.
Okay.
Hold on. 1 second. I don't like the way this looks. Give me a second. Let's go back. We're going to do a better one here. All right.
It's okay, you can record me all you want. He's a little scumbag.
Okay.
Just like you.
Okay.
I don't care. You can tell your father's gonna go to jail too.
Okay.
Because I have video of him driving.
Okay.
Watch.
Okay.
Watch. You little That's what you are.
Little boys
A little
throwing stuff.
Where's Daddy in Oklahoma? Where is he? Your father Jake wants nothing to do with your stupid ass. You psychopath. I'm stupid? Look at yourself. Nobody wants you. Your own mother sent you to a hospital. Don't you realize that? I didn't want any kids. And I told your nutty mother that 8 years ago. Because I saw how she acted with you. That's why, you dumb.
Shorty, are you okay?
Daddy Dan's going to jail because I have video of him driving.
Yeah.
Remember the alcoholic who drove with you drunk in a car? You dumb.
Okay. So there's that man, right? And I want to break down this video, okay? I want to break down this video because there's a difference. See, the difference here is this man is not displaying any authority. There's no authority here. As a matter of fact, he's trying to display authority and it's not working, right? He's trying to use it in a form of yelling, screaming, overreacting, anger to make his point across, but it's not working. And he's actually being, his anger is being fed, and he's overreacting to these little children who are talking back. And the lady that is recording, there's a lady behind the phone recording. We can't confirm that that's the wife, but it seemingly is the mother of the children. His girlfriend or wife, whatever it may be. We can't confirm that that's her because she didn't openly say it. The video doesn't say that, but we can, We have an idea that the way he's speaking to her is situations we've seen happen commonly, right? So I want to break that down. Is that's not authority. Obviously, first and foremost, this man is just angry. He can't help himself in reacting this way. And he has the mama spirit. He has the mama spirit. And what the mama spirit really is we'll get into that in a second. But he has that overreactionary spirit with him, right? That emotional spirit. To get your point across, you use anger. You use that. But you can't use that against ladies, right? You'll never win. You cannot use anger or emotions against ladies, right? They know that better than you do. So you cannot beat them at their own thing, their own game. Cannot use that. So he's sitting up there looking silly. He has the mama identity, and there's no authority there. And then they're laughing at him. They sit there laughing at him. I also understand what this man may be going through because he's probably sick and tired of this, the games that, the son talks back. He doesn't listen. All these different things. He's probably overreacting to the fact that, he's being ridiculed as a man and he can't handle it. That's typically what we see, right? But there's no authority within him, so he can't win. He cannot win. But I want to also break down the behaviors of the other people in the video, the other people involved in the video here. I want to break that down. Hold on, give me a second.
It's okay. You can record me all you want. He's a little scumbag.
Okay.
First off, you see this little boy swinging the broomstick at the stepfather, right? What he's doing is just sticking up for his mother.
Just like you.
Okay.
I don't care.
Look, he hates him. It's not his father, right? That we know of. And he's throwing the stick. Now, the little boy has already got that in him too. He's got that little anger in him too. Look, he's trying to get involved. He's trying to protect his mother. He's trying to do whatever he's trying to do. Hitting this man, this grown man with a stick, is a bad idea. Worst thing you could probably do, because if this man is angry, who knows what he'll do to this little boy. So the little boy is not very smart. Right? But where do you think he gets that from? Right?
You can tell your father's going to go to jail too.
Okay.
Because I have video of him driving.
Okay.
Watch.
Okay.
Watch.
Right? And then the mother there behind the camera, assumingly that this is the mother behind the camera, she's instigating. She's instigating the situation. She got a camera out. She's recording him. And she's saying, okay, bet, okay. All right. Right, instigating the situation, right? So what do you think that these young kids that are watching, what do you think they're seeing that? They're seeing this instigation, right? They're seeing this, the way she's speaking to the stepfather. So what do you think they're going to do in return? They're going to not respect him either.
That's what you are, a little
This man is not just going off on this young boy for no reason. No, I'm sure the young boy also talks back. Young boy doesn't respect him. The young boy, it's not his father. It's not his biological father. So, of course, he doesn't want to pretend like it's his biological father. So there's probably that in there. But this little boy is not innocent. He's sitting there and throwing punches like the ladies do. They just throw names at you. They call you names, right, to get underneath your skin. Where do you think he learned that from?
Where's Daddy in Oklahoma? Where is he? Your father Jake wants nothing to do with your stupid ass.
Look, the son is laughing, and he's throwing little remarks at him.
Psychopath. I'm stupid. Look at yourself.
See? He's just triggering him with words. The son is just triggered. The son knows what he's doing too. Where do you think that spirit comes from? Where do you think he learned that behavior from? Right? Mama's teaching all of it. Right? He's telling him, he's throwing little jabs at the stepdad. Like, where's your children at? You know what I mean? Smiling, laughing while he's doing it. All right? That cunning type behavior. That's not natural in men. It's not natural in women either, but women do that more than men do. right? Where do you think he learned that from? You know what I mean? Like this man who is yelling with anger, he looks like the bully, right, to the rest of the world. But there's more to this stuff. These little kids swinging broomsticks and talking mess, they ain't innocent. This woman recording, she ain't innocent. You know what I mean? But at the same time as well, they have no love. There's no love around. The mother who's recording is also probably dealt with weak men over and over and over again, and she's bitter, and she's hateful, she's angry. You got to be angry to pull out your phone and start recording somebody's stuff, right? And post it, right? She's angry, so she's probably dealt with too many weak men, and they've let her down, right? They failed her. So in return, she's angry, and she's bringing other men who aren't the biological father into her children's lives. So she's all jacked up too, so you can't be mad at her. You can't judge her either, because she's all jacked up. And a man come in here and he try to save and be a father figure to these young children, but they hate him because it's not their biological dad. So they're tick. They're tick. They don't want him there. And then he's mad because he just coming here trying to help, and all he's getting is demons. So everybody just jacked up, all right? Everybody just jacked up. Everybody lost, confused, scared, blind, on the run, looking for love. You can't judge anybody. We have no right to judge anybody because we're no different. But I bring this video to point out that that's what false authority looks like. Anger, intimidation, all that stuff. That's not authority. You don't need to do all that. People say, why don't you spank your kids? Why don't you beat your kids? Why don't you do this stuff? And maybe there's a time in a blue moon to do that, right? But real authority doesn't have to say nothing but once, right? Real authority is feared. And it's not that it's in fear as in trembling, it's fear as in respect. You got real authority in your household, in your home. The wife and the children are going to respect you because they know if they don't, or else. That's it. Or else. And or else don't mean that you're going to beat them up or something crazy, right? But they know not to do that. They know not to do that because they see the authority in the man. So that's the difference. That's the difference. All right. I got some people online here that want to get on that. Let me just check the super chats. Everybody thinks that that you need to fight, to show that you're a man or something, or that you need to be a boxer. You need to box. You need to MMA to show people that you're a man. That all that stuff does not make you a real man. Nothing wrong with training, boxing, whatever, but that's not gonna make you a man. That's not gonna give you authority. There's thousands of men, professional fighters, who hide behind that fighting stuff, but they're really still scared. They really still feel like little boys within, right? That's not gonna make you tough. That's not gonna make you a man. You gotta actually be a man. You gotta actually overcome. You gotta actually find God. You gotta get to know yourself. Find yourself. That's what makes you a real man. Fighting does not make you a real man. Was Jesus a real man? He didn't fight. He didn't have to fight to prove that he was a real man. He didn't have to prove that he was a real man. And I'm not saying don't defend yourself if you have to. I'm just saying that we got to get to the real authority, us men. That's the only way our families are going to come back together. That's the only way the wives are going to obey. That's the only way the children are going to respect you. That's the only way the families are going to be in order is if men return to true authority, which is God, which is love. And then the women and children, they have a duty to do the same thing. And they will if they see a good example, if they want what's right. If they don't want what's right, God will deal with them. And that's who they really should be afraid of. Oh, God gonna deal with them. Oh, God gonna get them. You know what I mean? So, let me see here. Let me check the super chats. Okay, I'll come back to that. Let me go to John out of Alabama. John, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Good day, Joel.
How's it going, John?
All is well, right?
All is well.
So, a pattern of this authority. This is just a suggestion.
Okay.
And the first one or two examples, I don't think are very dramatic or controversial, but the third, maybe. I'll lay it out there, set it up for you, and you kind of pick through it. Tell me what you think.
Okay.
So pattern would be like responsibility, privilege. Hey, you clean the dishes, talking to my son or daughter, clean the dishes, and you can play your game. That's first example.
Okay.
Second example, hey, you cut the grass by Thursday, then you can go play your soccer game Saturday.
Yeah.
Supposed to rain Friday, the grass is not cut by Thursday, you ain't playing Saturday.
Yeah.
Now the third example is, hey, you want to date, be around a lady romantically. You got to be out the house on your own and providing for yourself before you can do that. So I would tell maybe my 16-year-old son, I know you're into ladies. I know, you're not going to admit it, but you really like the lady.
Yeah.
And a privilege of being with that lady, the way you want to be with that lady, is you got to get the responsibility first, marriage. So out the house, on your own, you ain't got to wait a year, 2 years, 3 years. You meet the right one, she knows where you live, where you work. You can put groceries on the table. There's no impediment. You got the responsibility in place, and now you get to enjoy the privilege.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Joel, I teed it up for you, buddy. Go for it.
So what's the question that you're asking me about that?
Well, I hear what you're saying about consequence, right? You're talking about legitimate authority.
Yeah.
I'm showcasing a pattern,
Okay.
right? A pattern of responsibility and privilege. And so I don't know how that fits, if that's compatible with your teaching for us today, or if that maybe is, doesn't really. Maybe it's a skew. Maybe it doesn't quite fit what you're asking us or telling us about authority.
Okay, so first, I want to address that real authority is not based off of like rules that you give out, right? It's based off of the respect that your children or wife have for you because they see that within you. So authority comes from within, not from like rules from without, right? So you want to make sure that you have that or work on getting that, having that authority, which all you have to do is tell them once, hey, if you don't do this, or that make sure you do your schoolwork. And when you say it, you mean it. You mean what you say and you say what you mean, and they hear it and they know it. Like, oh, okay, I got to make sure they do that. Now, secondly, those rules that you do give them are necessary things to have. Like, well, make sure by Thursday you do this or you can't go to that party, right? And then Thursday comes, they don't do it, then you stand on your word and that you're not going to that party type of thing, right? And they know that there was consequences to that. They know that, oh, dad meant business we can't go to that party. I should have did that. So those things are necessary, but they should follow in line after the true authority is given off by you. That makes sense.
And I'm guessing, like, if I was a complete degenerate, maybe I was drug addict and sleeping with hookers. I mean, you're saying clean, make sure you're healthy. You're sort of oriented in the right way, so that in other words, you tell me don't be living one way and then ask him to do something else. Is that am I hearing that right? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying is that you have to, for one, you have to live it, you have to be it, but it has to be real, right? You can't fake authority. You can't make anybody respect you. Either they do or they don't. You know what I mean? And the question comes down to not will they listen to my rules, but do they listen to me, right? Do they respect me enough to respect what I say? That is the question that has to be that men and fathers have to ask. Do I have this real authority? You know what I mean? Because that is what respected. Just rules alone are nice to give your children, right? You can't do this, you better do this, or this will happen, blah, blah, blah. But that alone won't make them follow them. You know what I mean? That alone won't keep them in line.
I got you. I got you.
It's got to be backed by something real.
Yeah, and I'm trying to connect the dots. I know I think you guys suggest, I'm fairly confident on this. Correct me if I misheard Jesse, but I think JLP said the wife is responsible for working on herself. The husband provides, he protects, he facilitates the atmosphere and the area where she's in to fulfill her ministry. I mean, he's looking out for her so she can be under God comfortably as best as he can. The husband can accomplish. So that's on her. Like, if she's not under God's authority, it's going to be really almost impossible.
Yeah.
But from the kid's standpoint, I don't know if they understand abstract. How is this real authority idea? How would you cultivate that? I mean, if it's a silver bullet, I would love to have it. I mean, if it's something that I can get a hold of or work on myself for the kids, man. So what do you recommend?
Well, so have you done all the things that you hear JLB talk about? Have you forgiven? Have you spoken to your parents? Have you let that go, that anger, that hate go, meaning forgiving them for the way they raised you and the mistakes they made with you? Have you done that?
I have, yes. But I see where you're getting at. In other words, just like the wife ought to be working on herself, I should be working on myself.
Right.
Is what you're saying.
And have you done those things though?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't want to be out there, like, well, let me tell you what all I've done.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to go that route.
Right.
I'll just say, I'm under JLP's leadership, man. As far as I don't agree with everything.
Right.
He's extremely. I mean, I've hitched my wagon to him as of right now because I think God's using him to speak to me. So I'm on board with those fundamental things that you're talking about.
Fair enough. But what I'm really asking is, what do you think the reason is behind why your point to your children or your wife is not being made? Why do you think that you're not displaying this authority that you want to have? Where do you think that you're lacking there?
I mean, I don't think it's a great question. This is more of I'm just touching base with you because it was the topic.
Oh, okay.
And as a father, I think that's and a husband, I think that's probably the biggest challenge is to be in love. I mean, just deciding whether to have a rule or not, deciding whether, it's the carrot or the stick.
Yeah.
If you have a rule, I don't want to spank or punish.
Oh, I see.
Let the consequences of their decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, if they have something that's a privilege, that's what I was saying about the sex. To me.
Well, just really quick, John. Not to cut you off, John, just because I'm running out of time here. Just really quick, do you know? How do I put it? Do you know yourself? Do you know Do you know who
I'm
you are?
nobody, buddy. I'm nobody.
But not just that though, because I don't want to seem like I'm giving you a Jesse thing. I'm truly asking you, do you know like yourself though? Because um like for example, it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, is that
Yeah.
when you are giving these rules or these things to your children or whatever,
Right.
are you doubting yourself when you do it a little bit, or do you doubt yourself in the decisions you make in front of your family, or what's happening there?
No, I mean, it's my personality. I overthink. Or, it's like that poem
Yeah,
that Jesse recommended,
yeah,
If by Rudyard Kipling. I can't pronounce his name, man.
yeah,
But, it's okay to think, but don't be captured by thoughts.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah,
I was thinking of Christ words when he said, if you hoop and holler, going about in the street and act all crazy, trying to pray and
yeah,
get your worship on, well, you have your reward, your
yeah,
choice. But if you go into your prayer closet, the Lord will see that in private, and He'll reward you for it, and your reward's in heaven. I mean, so I'm Team Derek when it comes to the Bible, man. So
right.
I mean, yeah, if we were to pivot and go, what does the Bible say? I'm Team Derek on that.
But like you're saying that you overthink sometimes and you're in your head, so it's hard to know what decisions you're making are the correct ones.
No, I probably put myself in the same category as Derek, in that I think I probably if I was to say I had a gift, I would say it's teaching. I'm not saying I'm great at it. I'm saying I'm maybe satisfactory with it, and I enjoy it. So, I mean, I homeschool not because I feel obligated, but because I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, you guys having y'all available, and I support y'all. Don't tell anybody, but having y'all available is a resource to me.
Oh, okay.
For you to ask me questions like that.
Yeah. Well,
And and if go ahead, buddy, go ahead.
well, I was gonna say that the best thing the best advice I can give, because I'm not quite sure exactly what you're getting at clearly, what you're asking clearly, but one thing I'll say is, because I'm running out of time,
Yeah.
is the best way to a man to receive his authority again or back is for one is when he gets to know himself and he realizes and finds himself and know who he is, and when he knows who he is, it is when he knows God. And yes, even if he and when you know who he is, when you know yourself and you know God, then you recognize his voice within. And when you recognize his voice within more and more, which it grows over time, then you listen less and less to the thoughts of the mind. And when you recognize it, and this is what Trump has, is when you recognize the truth from within, you can stand on it and you're immovable. It doesn't matter what anybody says. It doesn't matter if you go into your head. You don't change your mind, because you know that what you heard within from God of what to do, you stand on it. And that can only happen when you know yourself and you can recognize God's voice within. So that's the best way that I can describe that people, if they want success in their home or with their wives, their children, is they got to find themselves and get to know themselves and stand on what they believe to be true and recognize who God's voice is. And that's the best way to run the family properly. But
Joel, thank you, buddy. Thank
yeah,
you, sir. I appreciate it.
no problem. Thank you, John. Call me again. We'll get more into it. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Let me go to Dennis out of New Jersey. Dennis, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, how you doing, Joel?
All is well, Dennis. How are you?
I'm doing fine. All is well. Yeah, I initially called, to make comments and maybe we have a small discussion about Trump and his declaration of war against Hamas.
Okay.
But that guy, arguing with his girlfriend and the child,
Oh, yeah.
The step or whatever, that sparked my thoughts, and I wanted to speak on that just briefly, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I have children. Do you have children?
No, I don't.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm a Gen Xer, right?
Okay.
And I was raised by a baby boomer, and my father, when when they told me to do something, he said it one time, and if I didn't do it, then I was going to get hurt, physically.
Right.
Either going to get a whooping
Yeah.
or or get punched in the stomach or something or in the chest.
Okay.
And his father, my grandparents, those guys, they didn't even talk to children. They just said, they just sent you on your way. If you was a child, they wouldn't even pay you no mind. They say, here's $1. Go ahead, about your way. But this guy, he sounds like he must be like a young millennial or Gen Zer sitting, going back and forth, or arguing with his girlfriend and making comments about the child. I don't know. I know.
I'm not sure.
Times are different now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's millennial or X, but he's angry. I know that. But go ahead.
Yeah. So when my kids, talk back or get angry, I have. Sometimes I think that I should just revert back to the way I was raised. Like my father, if I say one thing and then if they didn't do it, then I would just beat them up. But you can't do that nowadays. You have to actually sit down and have a talk with them, and talk to them calmly and understand what they might be going through as a child. Maybe once if you more calm and talk with respect, then you get more done that way.
Yeah. No, I agree. Do you have you taken the approach ever with your children of the way that your parents did with you, with the physical punishment?
Yeah, I did it once, and I did it once, but
And what do you think about it? What do you think about it?
I probably hit him a little bit too hard. Said, "Dang, I don't want to hurt the kid,"
Yeah.
So I probably just find a different way, to do it.
And has it been working the way that you're talking about? Has it been working?
Well, the thing is, it's hard to tell. You don't know what the end result is going to be when they grow up, and that's your main concern is when they get out to the real world that they don't think it's all peaches and cream like it is. When you're living under your parents' roof and all.
Yeah. Well,
you gotta get.
Well, let me ask you, Dennis. Do you think, in all honesty, do you think that you have authority over your family, your children?
Yes, I believe so.
And do you find that they question that authority or they don't respect it?
No, I find that they'll question it from time to time, but it depends on what age they are. So once they get around 15, 16, they'll start talking back and
forth. They
stuff.
testy. Yeah. Teenagers, no matter what, they get testy. But do they see that do they see more like nice dad, or do they see because I know you said your parents were like, don't mess with dad type of thing, and maybe that was too extreme for your liking. But are you on the other extreme of too nice, or how? What's that dynamic look like?
I wouldn't say too nice. I'm just, I'm more strictly business than I am being mean, and threatening. Yeah, so I go straight to the crux of the situation. If something ain't getting handled correctly, then I got to correct it.
Yeah,
and let them know what is going to be the consequences. And because I feel that you're getting up there in age, and you're about to be an adult, going to make your own decisions. Then once you explain to them the consequences of what's going to happen if you don't follow these directions, then they'll have an understandable the real world might bring to them.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's my thing there.
No, I like that you you have a conversation with them, right? If they're thinking a certain way or whatever, you have a conversation with them and you try to understand what's going on so you can approach it properly. I think that is a good approach. But I do think there's a time where a father also puts his foot down in the disobedience of his children, and that the children feel that he's not playing around. It doesn't necessarily have to mean you hit them or anything like that, but they just know. I feel like kids should still know that daddy shouldn't be messed with, type of thing too. And I feel like you can do that without having to hit, without having to overly raise your voice, but the authority will still, you know, be known. And I think that that's a sweet spot. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a different dynamic nowadays. You know, Gen X's, we was outside, you know, all the time, you know, falling off of trees and running into buildings and getting hit by cars. Like, you know, we was like tougher, but these new kids nowadays, they intellectual a little bit more. You know, they get a lot of information off the internet, so they can talk in all kinds of different angles and stuff like that. So it's almost like you talking to someone that's an adult almost, you know, with some of the stuff that they bring up to you. But, you know, there's just stuff that they, you know, read somewhere that it's not that they actually experienced.
Yeah.
So it's a little different dynamic. And then, you know, because the kids ain't as rough and tough as we is, you can't really physically get at them because, you know, they just not built like that no more. You know, my dad could throw me out the window. I just, stand back up, wipe the dirt off me. It didn't hurt, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a different world now.
Well, then at the end of the day, they got to know that they need to respect you. And you shouldn't demand your respect. This is just my opinion. I have no kids, so I'm not saying that you should take this and run with it. We're just having a conversation here, but I think that kids do still have to know that who's in charge. You know what I mean? However, that needs to be shown. They should know, and they need to know who's in charge because they're counting on their parents to lead them and guide them in the right way, even when they talk bad out the mouth, even when they get a little mad or talk back. They're still hoping that the parents are going to do right by them, which is put them in line. So however they need to be, that needs to be shown. It just has to be real. You know what I mean? Hitting people it does not show that you're of authority. But if you do it, you know, here and there, because you have authority, then fine. But there just has to be a respect there to me in order for it to be proper, if I'm making sense.
Yeah, totally understand that perspective. And about the Trump stuff, right? So he's declaring war on Hamas and stuff like that, right? And what's fascinating about that stuff is, you know, prior to Trump becoming president, you know, he was just a businessman. And it's amazing how, you know, easily he could command like the most powerful military in the world to just, you know, go kill someone. Like, and that's just how it is, you know. And you would think like, you know, I'm not like a softie, but you would think like, you know, giving someone a warning that they're about to die and then actually giving those orders out to, you know, kill those people, you know, it seems like that should be like something a little bit serious or something that'll sit on your spirit a little bit, don't you think?
Wait, so you're saying that you agree with Trump saying that, or you disagree?
I'm saying that he's doing what he needs to do. I'm not saying that's any.
Oh, I see.
Any other president wouldn't do. I'm just saying that another president. I don't know if another president would, you know, say it so freely in the public. Where, you're going to be dead for hours. I think it would have like a little bit more. Yeah. I don't know, proof when it comes to you know talking about executions of human beings. Even if they are evil human beings, you know what I mean? Yeah,
you know that's why I love the way Donald Trump deals with this kind of stuff is because you're right. I don't think that former presidents of recent times would actually stand on it in that way and say these things because maybe it comes off too mean, or they don't want to spark a war, or they don't want to. But that's the thing is that Trump is not trying to start a war, but he's also trying to protect America, and he has to stand on business in doing that. He has to let people know that, okay, I don't want a war, but you better not mess with me, type of thing. Like, I don't want a war, but you don't want to go there either, type of thing.
So you've never ordered the death of people before, right?
I never ordered the what?
The death of a human being before.
No.
Say go execute that person.
No, I never. No.
Yeah, that's like that seems intense.
Well, but I don't think that that's even his intention. I don't think that he's necessarily thinking like, oh, I'm ordering the death of people. I think he's just thinking like, listen, you guys, because he sees the bigger picture to me. He sees the bigger picture of what can happen if we're weak, of what can happen if we let things slide. And I think he's looking at that opposed to worrying about it's not even like he wants to go to war. Or he wants to threaten people, or he wants to threaten innocent lives or whatever. But it's at the same time, it's like, these other people who are running things are evil, right? And they'll stop at nothing to get their agenda completed. So I just think it's just Trump just showing that, don't mess with us, or else type of thing.
Do you keep up with a lot of geopolitics?
No, I'm not too familiar. That's American Anchor Baby and Hake's place.
Okay, yeah, because I've read somewhere that Iran isn't necessarily a ally of of China, but they do have financial partnerships.
Okay.
Yeah, so it seems then we say that Iran is a Muslim country. They're supposed to be supporting Gaza, and they've been sending strikes at Israel. You wonder like what's going to happen. Once if Trump was to wipe out the Gaza Strip, would that influence other countries to get involved?
And I guess we had to wait and see. We wait and see what happens. What happens next? A lot of people, Trump's first presidency, and then I got to run here. I'm so out of time, and I appreciate your call too, Dennis. Good conversation. But the first term, when they thought that Trump was going to have issues with Kim Jong-un, remember that? Everybody was scared. The public was scared. They're like, no, Trump's about to start a war. What's wrong with Trump? And then Trump was able to come into an agreement with them. You know what I mean? And Trump had went over there, and they were friends. I don't know about actual friends, but they shook hands and everything, and it's because he knows what it takes to get the job done. And nobody wants war, right? Well, I don't say nobody wants war, but Trump doesn't want war, but he also knows that he can't be a coward. He has to stand up. And that's just how I see the way he approaches all these things. And whatever the repercussions are, as long as he's doing the right thing, it'll work out in our favor. So that's just how I see it.
All right, great talking to you.
Thank you, Dennis. I appreciate it. Call me again, man.
All right, sure thing.
All right. I gotta end, y'all. I'm so out of time. American Anchor Baby is about to come in right now. Make sure you go to rumble.com/American Anchor Baby to watch him live right now. Call his show if you got some questions about more of what Dennis was talking about. Right? Nick could give you the details that I don't got. Right? So American Anchor Baby coming in right now. I'm not here tomorrow, but I'm back here on Monday. So we'll get back into some more stuff on Monday. Until next time, y'all have a great weekend. I'll see you in chats and all that good stuff. All right, y'all. Bye.
Nobody wants you.
Oh.
Your own mother sent you to a hospital.